things I learned from podcasts, even when you're pretending not to care. I promise to eat whatever's left over on your plate, even if it's carbs. I promise to turn off the Leafs game if they're already up by 7 goals. I will love you always.
I, Stephanie, take you, David, to be my husband. In front of our friends and family gathered here, I promise to love and cherish you throughout the good times and the bad. I promise to pretend to be interested in your podcasts. I promise to order extra carbs so you don't go hungry. And I promise that no matter how many times your team loses, you'll always be a winner to me. I will love you always.
It gives me great joy and honor today to present to you for the first time anywhere as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Yakubovich.
But let's just have a toast to the happy couple. You guys look amazing.
So for those who don't know my relation to Steph and Dave, I was actually a somewhat distant friend of Steph back in high school. When we were both small town girls in ghetto fabulous Monarch Park Collegiate. Any Monarch Park people out there? Yeah! Word! Awesome! I wasn't expecting that actually. You just ruined my joke. So even back in high school, Steph was always the girl in my mind who had it all. Wait for it. She was outgoing, friendly, and adored by everyone. Actually, I remember predicting that she would become prom queen, and guess what? She did. Steph and I were not that close in high school, and in fact, she would completely disappear by grade 12. And leaving me in the trenches of Monarch Park. I never really knew what happened to that nice Stephanie girl. So fast forward many years later, and many life experiences later, we were able to reconnect through the miracles of Facebook and meet up again to find out that we both had gotten out of the ruins of Monarch Park relatively unscathed. And fortunately enough, neither of us ended up dropping out or pregnant. That says a lot about Monarch. So I came to find out that in recent years, that Steph was still that girl who had it all. And I would find out that she was even more together than I could ever be, that's for sure. Hardworking, smart as hell, she could crush anyone playing Words with Friends anytime, yet party on the weekend like a rock star. But before we go into too much about my friendship with Steph, how about we hear from the man responsible for creating this beautiful specimen? May the father of the bride, Chris, please come up to the front.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for coming. Is that better? Yeah. Hold the microphone. How's that? Better. Well, this is my third daughter's wedding. My third speech, and the third time I forgot to bring the paper with me. So, congratulations, Stephanie. It's not for getting married. No, it's for getting rid of the last name. I'm not Secretary not so well. I don't expect you to pronounce it right. And I'm not going to try. Not tonight. So, all my girls weren't really fond of the last name. And you can call the girls. Leave it to your imagination, the last name somewhere. So, when we moved to Toronto, up north, suffering was exotic. It's very British. Very So we moved to Toronto. And Stephanie went to her first day and went up. And I hope nobody's related to this young lady. Stephanie came home and said, Dad, I'm never going to complain about her again. I said, why? What happened? And she says, there's a poor girl in class. Her name is Brandy and this time. In her words, she never complained again. Not to me. Now, while I'm writing these very quick speeches, I thought about the things I could talk about and stuff, but, I didn't want to embarrass her, but so I won't bring it up. I'm going to keep this really short. I'll talk a little bit about the day. First of all, congratulations to Dave. You get to now travel with Stephanie sometime. By the way, did you go away on the honeymoon? When Steph went to university, she did not get the meal plan. She took the vacation plan. I think you went away with the university.
Yeah.
It was fun? Sure, that was fun. Dave, you also have to be a very patient person because you now, actually, let's get patient, go back to brave. You have to be a very brave person because you've now inherited a very large and protective family. Her siblings are extremely protective of each other. They stand together. I'm sure you've met that, seen that already. The patient, we have inherited 3 nieces and nephews in our family. all of Stephanie's adopted friends who have children. I'm sure you're there every weekend, somebody's child that she's adored. And the last thing I know is that Dave's very kind. It's hard to be lost my father, and Dave was there every day. He was at the funeral, he carried my father out. He went and bought a bottle of scotch so we could toast him. And from that I know he's just going to look bad. Not from scotch. Your grandfather was very proud of you both, and he was truly missed. And with that I will end, and just say congratulations. Cheers.
Dan and Janet, please come up. It's Dave's parents.
Thank you, I think. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for sharing this most joyous occasion with us. Taking off from what Chris said, while there are many of us here, Stephanie, David, and their families wish that certain other family members could be here, other friends could be here, but who could not because of father time or long distances or just the vagaries of everyday life couldn't make it. So I ask you to have a toast as soon as Janet gets her glass. And let's have a toast to absent family and absent friends. Okay. Your turn.
I wanted to thank Steph and her family for so warmly accepting us and Dan and I into their family, especially Enza and Nadia and Danielle for including me in a lot of mother-daughter events over the last few years. It's been really fun and much appreciated. When Steph and David announced they were getting married and speeches were allowed, my mind went blank. What could or should I say? So, of course, I went to the library and started looking at books and to see what advice others had given. I came across a lot of material, but most of it was too saccharine or too snarky or too philosophical or just plain weird. But in the end, coincidentally, I was at the wedding of dear friend's son last week, and the best man summed up what I wanted to say in just one sentence. Weddings make family. And the minute I heard it, I said, that said it to me. Just said it all. So thank you, Dave and Steph, for doing this evening.
Today, we are delighted to publicly acknowledge Stephanie as a member of our nuclear family. Doing every other way, you've been a member of our family since Dave first introduced us to us about 6 years ago, and we saw the love that you had for each other. Stephanie really, really knew she was accepted when we gave her her own key to the cottage. Though that was a long time in overdoing. For those who don't know, that's her bevy of beauties, as we call them, who take over a cottage for a weekend and do not allow me to chaperone. Stephanie, one of our biggest hopes for David has been answered, that he would find great partner for life, who would love, appreciate it, and occasionally, when necessary, tolerate him. Thank you, Stephanie, for being that person. David, as your parents, we are very proud to know you and to call you our son. I had to cut out something here because I couldn't make it. We have had the pleasure and occasionally the pain, every parent knows what I mean, of watching grow from a baby into a wonderful young man. While we tried to teach you many things over the years, you've also taught us, primarily me, a few things as well. Among David's many positive attributes is his willingness to work hard and to step up and be there when needed. we recalled many incidences when his grandparents and us and his friends, so they told us, needed him and he was there. And to be fair to these guys, they've been around forever, they've reciprocated for David. No, it's you.
When I was looking for things for the speech, I came across a thank you letter from David's grade 5 class. It seemed I helped with making galoshes with them. I assume they meant goulash, since I don't know how to make galoshes. The letter was signed by about 25 children, and I see about 10 of those kids here tonight. It's been a pleasure and an adventure watching this crop of boys grow into such fine men. My first impulse was to say young men, but let's face it, you're all at least 35, and that's not so young anymore. I'm looking forward to continuing hearing all about your lives, only now I'll get the info from Steph and Dave and not from eavesdropping from the top of my basement stairs while you were all down there playing video games.
Now the general advice part. I can be a minister in this Forest Church. Remember to be kind to one of each other and to be patient and understanding. Continue to communicate and laugh together. Compromise. It is not necessary to be right all the time or to think or to that speaks for itself. Or you think you're right. Or as Ogden Nash said quite well, to keep your marriage brimming with love in the loving cup. Whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up. We give you our congratulations, and we hope that you feel the outpouring of love and support that you have in this room for the rest of your lives. May the love and the happiness you share today last through all the years. To Dave and Steph.
As most of you know, Stephanie is one of my favorite people in the whole world. She's one of the most important people in my life. Over the years, we've laughed together, cried together, and have had amazing memories together. I'm truly blessed to be someone in her life. Whether you are a firm believer of destiny or that everything happens for a reason, I ask you to look around the room tonight and think about the connections you've made in your life. Every connection we make is for a reason. Maybe it's to teach us a lesson. People change so you can learn to let go. Things go wrong so you can appreciate them when they're right. Or maybe it's to fill a hole in our hearts that we didn't know was missing. It's not by chance that I'm standing here tonight celebrating Steph and Dave. I was meant to meet Stephanie 20 years ago. I've never had a sister, but growing up with a younger brother, I always wished I had one. And although she had two amazing sisters, she made room for one more. I met Stephanie in May of 2000. A new superstore was opening at Victoria Park in Gerrard. Woo! And my parents were pushing me to get a job. Thanks, Mom and Dad. So I decided to attend a career fair that they were having. My dream job of cashier was all filled, so I interviewed for the position of deli. I was not thrilled, but hey, I was getting a job. And although we had many shifts together, it wasn't until my brother and her sister were in the same class at St. Pat's that we actually made the connection. So this is where our story could actually stop, because Nadia was not impressed with me. She mentioned to Stephanie that I was mean. Yes, mean. And that I called her feta cheese. So in my defense, this was my saying in high school. But to my surprise, Stephanie was not deterred, because the comment did not make her not be friends with me. So it wasn't until Kieran, Joyce, and I were planning a trip with breakaway tours to Quebec City that our friendship really took off. It was a regular shift, 4:30 to close at Loblaws, when I asked Stephanie if she wanted to take the last spot on our trip to Quebec. She didn't hesitate for a second. And that was the first trip, about 20 more vacations together, and about 5 more jobs together, and 6 years of living together. We were inseparable. Steph and Dave share the same birthday, which we heard today during the ceremony, which was lovely. Dave is actually older than Stephanie. We found that out. No, wasn't it? Who was earlier? You were the borning? Oh, okay. He's okay. And Dave's passion for hockey, but most of all, Dave's love for Stephanie. So today, Dave, I want to thank you for making my best friend smile every day. Thank you for being by her side through the good and the bad. Life is not easy and love is not perfect, but with the right person by your side, it's a lot better. Steffi, I can't believe I won't be calling you Suckling anymore. So for old time's sake, as I did at the deli, Stephanie Suckling to the deli department. Suckling to the deli department. Thank you, Steffi, for being my best friend, my sister and my soulmate. You are the most beautiful person inside and out. I love you to the moon and back. Dave, if you really love Steffi, you'll move to Mississauga so I can be closer to my best friend. I promise to fill both your bellies with my cooking and even take into consideration your no-carb diet. So I end this speech and raise my glass to the bride and groom and leave you with this. Love is old, love is new. Love is all, love is you. Cheers.
All right. We have a very, very special little speech gonna happen right now. Can I call up little Annalisa? Annalisa would like to give a few words to everyone. Okay. Ready? Get ready to go.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say? You want to say to Aunt Stephanie and Uncle Dave?
You're the best.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike, and I have the honor of commemorating this wonderful evening with a few prepared remarks. Steph, you've done an amazing job selecting the venue, putting together the guest list and the invitations, organizing the ceremony, arranging for a photographer and videographers, selecting the dinner menu, choosing the table centerpieces and layout and all the decorations, and booking the DJ. Dave, bang up job choosing these pocket squares, and also selecting the his and her signature cocktails. Yes. You hit all the right notes. But seriously, serving those cocktails before the ceremony was a nice touch. A tad unorthodox, yes, but a real crowd pleaser. And Steph, if that was the only unusual quirk that Dave managed to sneak into these proceedings, then you've done well, okay? I'm certain he made all sorts of unreasonable requests for out-of-the-ordinary things to be added into the mix. That said, the night is young. There's still time for surprises. Now, I've known Dave most of my life, and we've been very good friends since early high school, so I've been witness to quite a lot. Now, to say that Dave likes to push the envelope is an understatement. Pushing the envelope is like a religion for Dave. He does it habitually and with great joy. Growing up, this led to some pretty hilarious antics. I've got dozens of stories, but I'll only share a couple of quick ones. In high school, Dave and I actually also both worked at a grocery store at Dominion, first as cart pushers, then as cashiers. So, one day, my younger brother Ben started working there, and Dave decided to take full advantage of his seniority. Working the cash at a busy checkout line, Dave got on the loudspeaker. "Attention, Ben, please go to the deli and get me a sandwich. I'm pretty hungry over here." A couple of minutes passed. Dave got back on. Ben, hurry up with that sandwich. Later that shift, Dave was written up for violating page system etiquette. It was an official infraction. Now, it wasn't just harmless pranks like this. Dave was also always very ambitious, but comedy was always a part of things. So, also in high school, a little later on, he ran for school president, and I was his campaign manager. Needless to say, it was an unorthodox campaign. During the morning announcements on the PA system, you were allowed to run campaign ads. Dave and I thought it would be hilarious to record fake press conferences where candidate Dave was shouted at by reporters with a series of gotcha questions about the candidate's sordid past and controversial views. Dave would then handle these questions terribly and shout, "No more questions! This press conference is over!" And he'd storm off. Now, these spots got mixed reviews. And Dave did not win that election. But he still boasts that months later, multiple younger kids would approach him in the hall and say, "I just want to let you know, I thought your morning announcement campaign spots were really funny." And for Dave, if he was able to reach that one weird kid, it made it all worthwhile. Now, apart from being one of the funniest and bravest people I've ever known, Dave is also genuine, thoughtful, generous, principled, and a successful professional. He's also always been there for me, not just to provide a much-needed sarcastic comment to brighten the mood, but also for the bigger things when you really need a friend. And I couldn't ask for a better friend than Dave. This is why I'm so glad that you and Steph found each other. Steph, you make Dave happy. And for good reason. I could go on and on about how great Steph is, but I've already gone well over my time. Steph, I've only known you for the 6 years that you've been dating, but I feel like I've known you my whole life. You two are perfect for each other. Steph, you respond to Dave's caring and romantic side with loving devotion. And you respond to his antics with a loving eye roll. So here's to a lifetime of happiness and laughter together. Cheers.
I think they complement each other and bring out the best in each other. And I've never met two people who both had the biggest groups of friends I've ever seen. Yeah, I realize how much of a loser I am because Steph has an entourage of girlfriends. Hey, entourage! And Dave with his massive crew of bros. This is why this wedding is so goddamn big. And this is why this is about to be the best party ever. So, for our final speech, Steph and Dave, may you come to the front, please?
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to start out this speech. Obviously, I'll let Dave close it off because this will be his moment to shine. But I just wanted to thank everybody for coming. Braving the road closures and the TTC closures and giving up some of your long weekend to be here with us today. It really means a lot. I'm just going to say a few thank yous to, of course, my girls here on the side. Laura, Sarah, and my sisters, Danielle and Nadia. Where's Nadia? Okay, perfect. You guys have been with me through thick and thin, not only this year, but,
the last 20 to 35 years, basically. And I love you all so much. I'm not going to get into too much because I'll cry. I've been crying a lot today. So I love you. Thank you for everything, for giving me your babies to be nieces and nephews of mine, and I love you all. I'm going to start rambling, so I'll stop. To these handsome guys back here, who I also love so much, all of you. I've been so lucky that Dave has such an awesome group of friends who've been so nice to me from the beginning. Not just these guys, but a few tables all over the place. Nick, thank you for coming all this way from England to be here. He flew in just in time. He flew in just in time for the rehearsal and was probably like 4 a.m. by the time, England time, by the time he got home. But it wouldn't have been the same without you and Ashley, who we just love so much. Thank you for coming. And obviously Bobak and Ryan and Mike, I love you all, and your wives superbly. My little WAG group over there, thank you for everything, for making it so much fun to be part of this group. Yes, and then obviously the rest of my classy ladies who couldn't, I couldn't have a bridal party of 30, so I had to make some tough choices, but you know how much I love you all, and it wouldn't be the same, obviously, without you here either. And then my parents, my whole family, and Dave's family for welcoming me from the beginning. Honestly, I know he says it's official now, but I've really felt welcome since day one. So thank you. I love you guys. And my mom, of course. My mom, my dad, making me who I am today. Blah, blah, blah. I guess with Dave, I don't really know. I love you. I don't know where to begin. Probably on the top of the Piston Stairs is a good place to start. I'm sure neither of us expected that chance encounter to lead us to where we are today.
Speak for yourself.
I certainly didn't. I thought he was cute, but I was moving downtown. I was ready to be single and mingle. But within a few months, I had a roommate who just never left, and I'm so glad he didn't. I love you so much, and thanks for marrying me. I appreciate it.
All right, so I want to start by thanking everyone for attending this traditional Satanic Temple wedding. Someone lock the doors before Ryan can leave. Thank the bad Lord, everything went off without a hitch. I have to start, so it's hard for me to express my feelings to the people who are important to me. So I thought I'd do it tonight, and that would cover me until my 50th birthday or so. So I have to start with the people who helped us with this event. Yeah. You guys did so much. We couldn't have done it without you. Most of you did more than I did. So thank you so much. While I'm thanking people, feel free to cheer if you hear your name or the group you're associated with. To the classy ladies. And the Habs. Yeah, he gets it. Husbands and boyfriends, try to keep up, guys. So marrying Steph on its own would have been enough. But to be able to double my friends was such a great bonus. To use some IT jargon, a lot of time the wife's friends are a bug, but for you, they're definitely a feature. I'm in IT now. I have to use those words. I'll always love those late night after hours parties, even when I'm asleep. To Steph's family, there's so many of you guys. I can't name you all, but you know who you are. Thank you for being so welcoming. When I first started dating Steph, I was invited to her birthday dinner, which was also my birthday. And you guys, you never made me feel like I was a guest of Steph. You made me feel like I was there to celebrate my birthday as well. And I really appreciated it. So I want to thank my wedding party, the groomsmen. As Steph mentioned, Nick flew all the way from London. He's my Minister of Propaganda. Yeah. Bobak, my Minister of War. Now, you might think it's a little racist that I named the only Iranian I know as the Minister of War. I wanted to just set the record straight that he insisted on that title.
Only because he was a more racist.
No, it wasn't. Ryan, the toppest of all dogs. And Mike, my best man. Well, I say my best man, but you're more of a communal best man at this point. Yeah. Thank you for coming through like you always do. You crushed it. If this whole finance thing doesn't work out for you, you might want to consider renting yourself out for best man services. One of the all-time masters. To my parents, thank you guys for not only what you guys did tonight, but my whole life. You've always gone above and beyond, and it would be so easy to take you for granted, and I hope I never do. I thought I did. Wayne Gretzky. You knew I'd find a way to sneak in more hockey. So when Wayne Gretzky won his first Stanley Cup, he wrote a note to Walter on the back of his game stick. And because marrying Steph is my version of winning the Stanley Cup, I decided to write a note to you guys. I wrote it on this empty mezcal bottle. It says, "Mom, Dad, everything I have I owe to you." And what was true for Walter is even more true for you two. I'll give this to you later. And finally, Steph, my beautiful bride. And you look truly beautiful tonight. I was shocked. Or no, that's not the right word. I was...
Thank you.
I was astounded. That's what I was meant to say. I don't know. It's not even getting better. But that's not the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make is anyone can look beautiful on their wedding night. It's not even that impressive. No, hear me out here. I remember a couple years ago, we partied all Saturday night. We watched cartoons all Sunday morning, so hungover. And she looked every bit as beautiful that day as she does today. And that's when I knew I was a lucky man. So it was almost 14 months ago when I proposed. And we were at the cottage, we were on the beach, and I had planted a clamshell as a distraction. And I said, "Hey, there's a clamshell. Hey, Steph, you think you can open it?" And she didn't know I had super glued it closed the night before. So she's so distracted, and I was fully on one knee. I had this ring extended. She's still fooling around with the clamshell. And I had to literally tap her on the shoulder. And I said, "Steph, will you marry me?" And she said those three words that every guy dreams of hearing. "Are you sure?" said I wanted to eat Arby's that night.
In my defense, I never thought this was going to happen.
Well, Steph, I want to tell you, I'm as sure now as I was then, and I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I can't wait to the next stage of our adventure. Oh, and Steph wants to say one more thing.
In the haste of my thank yous and nerves, I forgot to say one very big important thank you to my good buddy over here, Michelle Iancu, who basically set up this whole thing for us today. She just took it on, free of charge, best ever. It looks beautiful. I love you. Thank you so much. I didn't want to forget to say that before I said goodbye.
Let's dance.
Oh, yeah, let's dance. Well, we're slow dancing, and we hope everybody will join us shortly after.
You just took the words out of my mouth.